Again, at the end of the session today, towards the end of the day, I'll upload the video lesson on the YouTube channel. If you haven't gone to subscribe, 23 Mr. Q. If you miss anything from class, it should be in the video, okay? All right, where were we? Number 1, the sum. And we said Jeremy's got it, but let's pass it to Brianna. What'd you get, Brianna? Sum. So you said 378.3075. Hands if you got something like that. See some discrepancies. Okay. What'd you get, Emilio? Point what? All right. Hands if you got something like that. Okay, couple. All right, so then this is going to be one of those that I need to go over just to make sure we got it. And this is all boiling down to placement, okay? So here we go. I got 95.9, 47.09, 23 Michael Jordan, number 1. We got 3.0005. 65.007, 23.1, and 103.1. All right, so let's see. Did I miss anything? No? So anything in the 10,000 spot? No. 5, okay. Anything in the 1,000 spot? No, that's a 7. 100, so that's 10. I got carry 1, 10, 11, 12. Is that correct? All right, carry 1, 12, 13, 16, 19, 24, 27, 30. You got 3. 12, 16, 17, 18, 24, 25, 26. Got 2, 3. Hands if you got something like that. From the corner. Let's go. Placement, guys, make sure keep all the decimals aligned. That's going to help you out when you're doing the addition. Because we're getting slowly but surely where we need to be there. And this kind of math that we're going to be doing is going to be a lot of number crunching. So you need to make sure you get all of your alignment done. Now, ascending order. Okay? Share once more with your neighbors, so like that we can pass it to someone. Ascending order, so they can tell us their ascending order. All right, let's see. Brianna, pass someone. Ethan? Yes, here. All right. $23. No, just give me the whole order. 3. Okay, so we start with 3.0005, comma. 23.01. 23.1. Okay, hold on, let me get these crossed out. All right, continue. 47.09. 65.007. 95.9 and 103.1. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Ascending, we start with the lowest and goes to the highest. This is a skill that we're going to need all year, guys. You're going to see that from today's lesson. Today's going to be our first lesson. You're like, what? Oh, yeah, we got this. All right? And number 2, simplified form for this one, just to be more expeditious, let's see. I'm going to start off by combining all the integers. 1 and 5, that's 6, minus 6, cancel, yeah? So far so good? All right. Negative 7m and a positive 9m gives us 2m. So far so good, yes? 2x squared and negative 8x squared, that gives us negative 6x squared. And last but not least, positive 10a and another a, that's 11a. And if we order those from highest to lowest degree, we start with negative 6x squared plus, I can either use a, I'm going to use a first, that's 11a, and then plus 2m. Hands, if you got something like that in any order? Yeah? Okay, good review. All right. Now check this out. Let me pause the music just so that I emphasize on these questions. Throughout the year, those of you that have been with me before, I try to share stories from my past. Kind of like I think I already shared with you guys day one that senior year is going to go pretty fast. And at times it might seem a little bit overwhelming. So once again, just a reminder that my doors are open. If you need someone to talk to, come talk to me. If you need a hug, I'm here to hug people. But senior year is going to go super fast. By March, like I said, most of your academic load is going to be all the way up to March. And after that, like a lot of activities are coming up, okay? I met my wife in my senior year. Let's go. Even though she turned me down like twice. But persistence, let's go, right? But anyways, aside from that, I brought up these questions just because reflection of the times and the time that you are going through as a senior. Like how do you expect your teachers to treat you? How do you treat others? And how do you expect to be treated by your peers? Now, I'm bringing that up because you guys are seniors. And believe it or not, your underclassmen, the other people that are on campus that are not seniors, they are looking at you guys, especially like how you guys carry yourself on campus, the way you project yourself around your friends and your immediate circle. So, just keep that in mind, because you're setting a bar or an example for them. You're like, but I don't want to be an example, Mr. Q. Well, tough, you are, because you guys are seniors. You know what I'm saying? So try, carry yourself as positive as you can. And I'm pretty sure, not everybody is, and I get it, but that's part of life. You got to learn how to adjust to different situations, and at times you got to be the person that steps away from certain situations, and go from there. So keep that in mind, guys, as you go out in the halls. Those of you that are used to, giving people wedgies or, punching people, whatever, keep that to yourself, my goodness, Let's keep it positive and let's keep this school year going as smooth as possible. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? Once again, here, my doors are open. If you need to come talk to me before school, during lunch, after school, I'm going to be here. So just let me know. If you think you're falling behind with stuff as well, come talk to me. Very flexible. And I'm pretty sure some of you have like other things going on aside from statistics. I get it. So just talk to me. Okay? All right. So we got the warm-up done. Warm-up number 2. Let's see if you remember. Tell you what goes underneath the warm-up on your paper. What is the next thing we write down? Yeah, the agenda. Copy that, please. Agenda for today. We're going to work on warm-up number 2. That's already done. Our lesson is on measures of central tendency. Number 3, HP means home plate. That means you're going to take home 4 problems today. Only, yeah. And adjourn. That means we're going to be done. Measure central tendency. I'm taking you back to middle school. You're like, what? Yes, you should have covered this with your teachers or maybe in Algebra 1, hopefully. Some of these things are going to start ringing a bell once we get started with them. And you're going to see how the math that we do for statistics is a little bit different from Algebra 2 and calculus and all that. and it's a lot of observing and looking at data and patterns, and a lot of crunching of numbers. So very imperative, make sure you get yourself a scientific calculator. You're going to need it, because we're going to be like using that like right quick to crunch numbers, okay? So measure central tendency, middle school, think back, remember, sloppy joes and frozen pizza for lunch and stuff. Did anybody get some frozen pizza that time? Yeah. I remember so one day I forgot to bring lunch, and I asked the student to go get me lunch. They brought me lunch, and I was biting the pizza, and all of a sudden I got to the end, and it was still frozen from the anyways, maybe it was just me. All right. Questions, comments? We good? Yes? All right. Previous home play, that was last night. Get that in front of you, and I want you to share what you got for numbers 1 and number 2 for the home play with your neighbor. See if they have something similar to yours. All right, for the sake of time, I'm only going to ask for number 1. I want to know the quotient of part A, B, and C. So I'm going to start by asking someone to give me the quotient for part A. And let's start with Bernard. Quotient. Negative 8.5. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Number 1B, pass someone, Bernard. Who? Oh, Emilio. 1B. The quotient? Negative 2.5. Repeating? Okay. Hands if you got something like that. All right, that is correct. Part C, quotient. Pass someone. Logan, what'd you get? That would be correct if it was 12 divided by 5, because this is 5 divided by 12. What'd you get for that, Georgia? 0.4 what? 2. Hands if you got something like that. That is correct. Yes? Let's try it. 4 times 12, that's 48. Out of 0. 2, bring down the 0. It's actually 1. Yeah, we'll leave it at 1. 0.41. Yeah. All right. And number 2. We know how to set it in ascending order. We did one on the warm-up, but for this one, I just want the sum. Tell your neighbor once again for the sum, and Georgia is going to pass it to someone. Sum. All right, Georgia, pass someone. Angel. .486. 4486. Hands if you got that. Looks about right. All right, so that's the home plate from last night. Once again, reminder, if you haven't subscribed or gone to my YouTube channel, 23 Mr. Q, and Nearpod you should have used for the syllabus that I gave you guys one of these, so make sure before you leave you take one of these so you can get that signed by you and your parents. All right, so far so good. Now Nearpod, whenever I ask you to sign in, make sure you start off with your period number, so this is period 2, and then your full name, okay? Tonight's home plate, you can copy that behind that page, that's fine. And copy the set of numbers for numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The instructions, it's mainly finding the mean, median, mode, and range, and then we'll talk about quartiles exactly what we do today in today's lesson, you're going to do with these numbers, okay? So I'll give you some time for that. Copy that, and go. So once again, the home plate, let me go back one. These four, and your Nearpod code to get the slides for the presentation is that one. All right? So today's going to be a day where we're trying to adjust to the different components that I use for the lesson. Those of you that have been with me before, it's going to go a little bit smoother for you, but those of you that have not, I'm going to try and slow it down as much as I can. First things first, we're on regular schedule already, so make sure you make adjustments appropriately. Materials needed once more. Scientific calculator. I've seen some of these at $10, I think, at Walmart. Those work fine. If you use graphing calculators from previous years, you may use that. It's still a scientific calculator. And at times you might forget your scientific calculator once we get our Chromebooks. Did everybody keep their Chromebook for the summer? Most of you? All right. So start bringing those tomorrow because we're going to start interacting using some of the programs. And I'm going to give you a website where we can use as a calculator in class. Materials needed. Make sure you get your materials as soon as you can. All right. Shall we? All right. So I like setting an organization for our page to take notes. So if you want to turn to a page that's blank, set it up for Cornell Notes, and this is how we take notes. For Cornell Notes, we draw a line down, or you make a fold on your paper, 5 lines up, and you're going to label this objective. Objective. If you need paper, there's paper over here. If you use this kind of paper, that's fine. Draw a line down, line across, and once again label this objective. All right? However, for concepts or main ideas that we cover that's new, I use a Freire model. For those of you that have seen it, it's over there on that whiteboard over there. That's a Freire model. So basically, you start here, make a rectangle. Something like this. In this quadrant, I'm going to give you a definition. Right here, I'm going to give you examples. Right here, I'm going to give you non-examples. And right here, I'm going to give you critical attributes that make the main idea the main idea. So the Freire model is something that we're going to use often, so make sure you get used to it. Once again, it's over there in case you don't see the setup. All right, so from the objective, whenever I give you the objective, the main idea is usually in green. That goes in here. And then we start from there by giving you definitions and then examples, okay? Y'all ready? So, here we go. Our objective for today. I can summarize data and compute the measure's central tendency. That goes on the bottom left of your notes. I can summarize data and compute the measure's central tendency. I can summarize data and compute the measure's central tendency. Now, we're starting with measure's central tendency because we've already seen some of these before, and I'm starting off slow. There's other measures that we're going to be looking at throughout the year, measures of position, and so on and so forth. But this is something, like I said, you should have already covered this in the past. I'm just going to retrieve it from your long-term memory, bring it back, and do some practice with it. So, questions. What is the concept for today? What is the concept for today? Looking at the objective, tell your neighbor the concept for today. What is our main concept, main idea? Yeah, measures of central tendency. And what are we doing with them? We're summarizing and computing. Okay? So, what's in green? Measure central tendency. That goes in the center of your Freire model. Write it in there, please. Measures of central tendency. And here's your definition. Measures of central tendency are commonly used measures of center for a set of numerical data that represent a central or typical value of a data set. I know it's a lot of wording, but right now when I show you examples with that, you'll see how it's fairly simple. Just the wording is a little bit robust. Measures of central tendency are commonly used measures of center for a set of numerical data that represent a central or typical value of a data set. So basically what they're saying is that when you are given a set of data, whatever that may be, like a lot of numbers, you're going to find there's certain patterns that bring that data to the main part of it, which is the center of the data. That's known as measures of central tendency. All right? So to get started with an example, we need numbers first. So the numbers that I give you are not measures of central tendency. What we're going to find from those numbers is, so write these numbers down: 75, 75, 85, 95, and 100. Once again, measures of central tendency are commonly used measures of center for a set of numerical data that represent a central or typical value of a data set. What I just gave you there, it's a data set. Are those the measures of central tendency? No. We're going to find what they are. So what are they, Mr. Q? Well, the first one is the most common one that you guys use to find your GPA. How do you find your GPA? Add all the numbers and divide by how many numbers you have, right? That's what we call the mean. Write that down. The mean is the first measure of central tendency. And how do we find the mean? Well, you find the sum of all the data given and divide it by the numbers of numbers given. So here we have 75 plus 75 plus 85 plus 95 plus 100 divided by how many are there? 5 of them. That gives us 430 divided by 5. That gives us 86. 86 is our mean. That's the first measure. Okay? Now, on the data that I gave you, do you guys notice anything in regards to how it's written? It's in ascending order. Do you guys notice that? From least to greatest. So get used to that, because whenever I give you data, make sure that's the first step you already have in your noodle to do with that data that I'm giving you. Okay? So we're done with the first measure. Let's go to the second measure. When you have data already in ascending order, it's easy to see the second one, which is known as the median. The median. What does median sound like? Like the middle. So look at it. Tell your neighbor the median of that data. What is the median? Yeah, 85. It's right in the center of the whole thing, in the middle. Now, there's going to be situations where it's not as easy as this one, because this one we have 75, 75, then we have 95 and 100. That's 2 and 2, and 85 is right in the center. But Mr. Q, what if we have 3 and 3, or 4 and 4, Mr. Q? Well, we add the two numbers closest to the center and divide by 2. That's how you find the median of an even number of data, okay? So far so good. Mean, we know how to find that. Median, we know how to find that. And the third and last measure of central tendency, let's see, mean, median, and mode. That is correct. Yeah, it's coming back, right? All right, so mode. What is mode? Mode comes from the Latin word moda, or something that occurs often. Look at that data. What is occurring more often? 75 is our mode. That is correct. Now, there's going to be situations where we have something that's bimodal. That means that there's two numbers that occur often, but they have to be the same number of times that they occur. But what if we have 275s, and 395s? Well, the mode is 95, the one with the most occurring numbers, okay? All right, we're good up to there? Simple? Yes? Now, let me give you another one that in the past you thought was measured, but it's not. Another example, write this down. Write these numbers again, and I'm going to show you another measure that is not a measure of central tendency, but it is something that we're going to be using to look at data, to make predictions. That is known as the range. That one's not part of the measure of central tendency, but we are going to be finding that today, and we are using it throughout the year to make predictions of data. Okay? So, by looking at it, in your own words, tell your neighbor how to find the range of this data set. How do you find the range of that data set? All right. Priscilla, how do you find the range? You subtract the maximum number of data from the minimum. Yeah? Everybody saw that? Straightforward? All right. Critical attributes is basically we write stuff that we know from the definition and what we see here, which I'm going to give you. There are 3 different measures. Yes, that's obvious. And what else do we know about measure of central tendency? There are typical values of data, or what we're going to be used to making predictions of data sets. And I write them as hashtags just so you can have that in mind. Hashtag 3 different measures. Hashtag show typical values of data. If you were to add one more, I'll probably just use hashtag mean, median, mode, or something like that. All right. So, before I move on to the next one, without looking at your notes, tell your neighbor the measures of central tendency. Yes, mean, median, and mode. Is range a measure of central tendency? No, but are we going to use it? Yes. All right. So we know what they are. We got those. Yes? All right. Steps that you're going to use tonight for your home plate. Write this down underneath your Frayer model. Step 1, you're going to organize the data from least to greatest. Number 2, you're going to identify the mean, median, and mode and range. And notice for the median, I labeled it Q2. We'll get to that in a little bit. Number 3, identify the upper, which is Q3, and the lower quartile, which is Q1. And at the end, you're going to summarize the data or analyze it to see what you come up with. All right, once again, for any set of data that I give you, the very first step is to what? Set it in ascending order. Any data that I give you, whether it's a word problem or whether it's any set of data, that's the first step. From there, make sure you find the measure of central tendency, which are what? Mean, median, and mode. But of course, this time we are going to include the range so we can make predictions of some of the data. From there, we're going to find the Q1 and Q3, the upper and the lower quartile. I'll show you how to do that in the lesson. And last but not least, we're going to summarize what we see from what we come up with a mean, median, and mode. So there's going to be some word problems, not today, but we're going to eventually get there, where they ask a question and we need to make predictions according to the stuff that we computed, okay? So here we go. Writing utensils down, look up to the screen. There's a set of data. Tell your neighbor the first thing you would do with that set of data. All right, so copy that down, please. So instead of just copying it like that, to save time, what would you do? Ascending order, that is correct. So do that as you copy it down. Example 1A. You don't have to copy the instructions because we're going to do this all together. And that's exactly what you're going to do tonight for your home plate. All right? All right? Here we go. Noel, read it to me. Hands, have you got that? All right. So first thing we're going to find is the mean. The mean. From there, we're going to go to the median. And then from there, we're going to the mode. All right. So to find the mean, how do we find the mean? Albert. Add them all and divide by the total number. So we got 8 and 7, 15, plus 4, 19, plus 4, that's 23. Michael Jordan, plus 2, that's 25, plus 2, that's 27, 29, 30. So we have 30 divided by how many? 8. Or 30 divided by 8. All right? Find me what you got for that, please. All right. Looks like Priscilla's got it. Very good. Let's see. What'd you get for the mean, Sean? 3.75. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. All right. Median. Once again, the median is where? Right in the middle. So let's see. How many numbers do we have total? 8 of them. That means we go 4 this way and 4 this way. So where's the middle? Right here. Is there a number there? There's 2 numbers closest to the middle, so what do? We add 2 and 4, and then we divide by 2. So 2 plus 4 is 6, divided by 2. The median is 3. So this is our median. And we're going to label that also Q2. Okay. And of course, obviously, we know what the mode is. Tell your neighbor what the mode is of that data set. And we're like, well, I see 2 and I see 4. However, which one occurs most often? The 2. That is correct. That's our mode. Because it's here how many times? 1, 2, 3 times. Okay. So, up to right there, from 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with that? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest? Yeah, 5, 5, 5, yeah. Okay. So, mean, median, mode, we got it. However, let's compute the range. Range, which is not part of the measures, but we're going to compute it. So, tell your neighbor how to compute the range and give him the range, please. All right, looks like Natalie's got it. Natalie, what's our range? Huh? 7. That is correct. Maximum, subtract from the minimum. All right. All right, so check this out. The home plate for tonight, you need to identify Q1, quartile 1, and Q3, quartile 3. Now let's reflect on how did I find quartile 2? I got the whole data and split it in what? Half. Since 2 numbers were closest to the half, I added those and divided by 2. That was my quartile. Okay? Quartile 1 works the same way because Q2 divides the data into two sections, the lower part and the upper part. So if I was to ask you to find me the quartile for this lower part of the data, what shall I do? I go to the median again. So what would be my median? There's four numbers. The middle is about right here. Is that correct? Is that the bell? No. Isn't it at 53? Still have 2 minutes, huh? Oh, I got this. We're almost done. We're almost done. Here it goes. Is there a middle number here? No. So what do? Add 2 plus 2, that's 4, divided by 2, that is 2. That's known as our Q1, quartile 1. So with that said, we got quartile 1, we got quartile 2. Tell your neighbor what quartile 3 would be. What is quartile 3? Yeah, the upper quartile, which is 4 plus 7 divided by 2, so that's 11 divided by 2, which is 5.5. Okay, hold on. Last component. I know, my bad. We need to find the IQR, or interquartile range. We got how many quartiles? 3. 1, 2, 3. How do we find the range, or the quartile range? Yeah, Q3 minus what? Q1, because that's the minimum. So that is 5.5 minus 2 gives us 3.5. We'll stop right there. All right, guys, once again, the home plate for tonight is finding the measures, the range, and Q1, 2, and 3 of the data. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your home plate. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.